Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of 365 Days of Gaming. I really appreciate you taking our time to check out this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you in advance. Now, there's not a lot of survival horror games on this list if you've been paying attention, and as we go forward, there's not going to be a whole lot of survival horror because I don't like being scared. But sometimes games aren't technically survival horrors, and they still fill me with so much anxiety. And one game in particular is the Gameboy version of Metroid, Samus Returns. Now, why do I say that the Gameboy version of Metroid scares me? Now, what I mean by that is, when I first played this game, I was playing on the Game Boy and I had never played Metroid before. So this was my first foray into the Metroid universe, and I had no idea what you're supposed to do and where you're supposed to go. And I had heard of Metroid before, but again, never played it, never really seen it. It wasn't a game that was talked about and played a lot in my neighborhood back in the day. So, I'm going into this blind, and what I figured out was there are some things on the loose, and I'm supposed to be the one that stops them, but they can come from anywhere at any time. And, this isn't the Metroid Fusion or, Metroid Prime or just even Super Metroid with a lot of the amenities that you would come to need in a Metroid game. And so, they just pretty much let you loose from the beginning. Good luck, you have fun. And there's a lot of trial and error in this game. There's a lot of backtracking. And I mean, it's still a fantastic game. That's the reason why we're talking about it today. But I just want you to know about how lost I felt as a kid jumping into this game and why I was so anxious throughout my entire playthrough. You could be just going through a room trying to figure out the next place you can go to once you get a new weapon or a new item, and then boom, Metroid in your face. And you start to see these like the cracked eggs that they've hatched out of as you're playing the game. And if you hadn't encountered a Metroid in that area, you immediately start to realize that they are somewhere around here. I'm going to interact with one very soon. So, it keeps you on edge. And I hadn't really experienced a game like that, back then. This is like 93, 94-ish. May even been as late as 95, and probably playing on the Game Boy Pocket. And I just remember, just always feeling like I didn't know what to expect, and it was going to get, I was going to get jumped by a Metroid in this corner. And even playing it now just to, show you what the game is like, I'm a little more comfortable, a little more confident, and also I don't fear dying in video games as much as I did as a kid. If anybody, knows childhood Darius, and they may have a memory of two of, some waterworks happening and some high-pitched wailing because I was dying in the game. But that's just, that's how I was back then. I just had this incredible fear of dying and losing in the video game. So it was like I had to do everything I could to not have it happen. And when it inevitably did, because that's what happens, I would be upset, and I had to learn how to control that. There was a lot of, like I said, high-pitched yelps, and usually that would be met with some snickers and some jeers from those around me, and had to learn how to deal with that because, one, I couldn't beat everybody up. I was a rather small child, so it wasn't like I was going to be punking nobody down. So, Metroid kind of helped me deal with that with this game. I had to get out here in some trial and error. Everything's against you, which is par for the course in any Metroid game. The one thing I do say I didn't like was the fact that some water hurts you, but some doesn't. And the only way to really figure out which one hurts and which one doesn't is to touch it, which was kind of the standard back then with the NES games, the Game Boy games, SNES games, really until the 64 and PlayStation era, where they would kind of give you tutorials and kind of give you the pop-ups, kind of like a Super Mario World. That wasn't standard. A lot of it was just die. But I did appreciate this game having things like a save feature, because that's really important. This game is way too big. I don't remember beating this game, so there's a pretty good chance I didn't, but I do remember getting really, really far in it, not having that many Metroids left to find. But I also just remember this feeling like the most massive game I had ever played. And, I never figured out how to pull up a map. I've never looked up a guide or anything, so if there is a way for you to pull out the map, then that's on me. But the Game Boy had 4 buttons: A, B, select, start, and a D-pad. So I pressed every combination of those together, and nothing happened. So I figured, this game didn't have that. which most games didn't. But seeing as how big this game was, I thought I'd get something, world map or something, do something for you, boy. But yeah, this is one of the Game Boy classics. Like the thing with the Game Boy was, if it was a Nintendo made game, or even like one of the heavy hitters like Konami, or even like Acclaim and Capcom and those games back then, or those publishers, like there was some really good versions. These wasn't just like a watered down version of console games. Like the Game Boy was surprisingly really good at giving you an experience that was unique to the handheld, but also had the vibes of the console predecessors, if they were based on consoles, right? One day we'll talk about the numerous reasons why other handhelds like the Game Gear failed, and it wasn't just the battery life, I'll say that. But yeah, if you played this game, especially if you've beaten it, how did you figure out what to do and where to go? But if you haven't, and you have a way to access this game, I definitely would recommend it. I'm not sure if it's on any of the Nintendo classic platforms or online things or virtual shops or whatever they have you, but I know it's not too hard to find if you really want to find it. If you're a fan of the Metroid series, I would invite you to play this game. I believe this is the second one in the chronological storyline, at least based on like the original one all the way through like Fusion, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope y'all are safe out there. Y'all having fun. Peace.